Hi guys, and good morning. So it is just about 12:32 in the morning of the next day. Court didn't go so well, and I found some information. I was tossing and turning, was wondering maybe I should go live tomorrow, but I kind of wanted to get this out today. Court didn't go very well. They don't want to return the kids. They want Christine and Roland to have them and give up our parental rights. I basically looked at my lawyer today and said, no, I'm not agreeing to this. We're going to court. There's a couple of things I want to get done, and I know my kids are coming home because I'm not giving up. And then all of a sudden, my lawyer got up out of the chair. We were in a side room, and she closed the door, and she told me the truth. I don't know this. I actually did. I've been knowing it for a while because I've been posting it on here, what I feel is going on. So, here you guys go. My husband and I left home at 9 o'clock because I had to go to get things done. I had to go to shop. I had to go get groceries. I had to go get things done. That was fine. We got downtown about noon, went had lunch, and then we walked to Queen's Bench. I know my mother was going to be there because stuff has been a little bit fishy, basically. Since Christina's gotten the kids, and I'll go into that more depth. So I'm basically upstairs waiting for my lawyer to come. Tim's old lawyer walks in, and I'm looking, thinking like, oh God, please, I do not want my husband to have this bitch again. This bitch has fucked us over before. I'm at this bitch again. I'm so fed up with it all and everything else. Like, don't get me wrong, my lawyer is just absolutely to die for. She's just amazing. So I'm sitting there with my husband, trying not to go into panic mode, because with me, I don't like going to places like that. I don't like really leaving my area of home. If I know where home is, I'm comfortable in my area, and that's it. That's just how I am. So I told my lawyer I would be there at 1 o'clock. I know court was at 1:30. And so I basically, what I did was I was sitting there looking at my phone and thinking like, okay, my lawyer was supposed to be here at 1:20. Why isn't my lawyer not here yet? And I'm counting down, and my grandmother didn't even text me. I texted her, said, hey, we're upstairs already. She didn't text me. She didn't even talk to me, which is strange. So I then proceeded to wait for the lawyer. I basically sat there even longer. Then all of a sudden, 1:25 hits, and I see my lawyer walk in. My lawyer comes to me. She says, I need to talk to you before we go in. So my lawyer and I talk. And I told her, I says, this is what I want, and this is what is this. And I says, after court's done, I would like to talk to you about some information for my channel. And she didn't even know what I was talking about. I says, there's something I need to talk to you about. And I didn't even say for my channel this time. Basically, I wanted to interview my lawyer. I'm not saying names. A lawyer, not my lawyer that represents me, a lawyer. Because there is corruption But there's more than corruption. I'll get to that. So then Christina, the bitch, walks in. I wasn't really looking forward to seeing her. Brady had the fucking nerve to stress me out even more. This is the CPS worker. Coming up to me and trying to talk to me. I look at Brady and says, I'm not talking to you without my lawyer present. And so she walked to a different location. My mother-in-law, she's an amazing lady. Dawn, she's an awesome lady. I love her. She's a great mom. Dawn goes and talks to Brady. And I can hear every conversation that they're talking about. Basically, Dawn's basically mom saying that she doesn't want the kids adopted and all this stuff. And she basically told her concerns. So that was fine. 1:28 p.m. hits, and we walked into the courtroom. And it was the same exact judge that we've always have had because of these issues. So I kept looking back around and trying to figure out why Tim's so-called new lawyer hasn't talked to him. And then this really cute lawyer, I have to say cute, comes and says, I'm looking for Timothy. And I says, go, Tim, go talk to your lawyer quickly. And Tim comes back a couple of seconds later. And before he went in, I told him, this is what I'm asking for from my lawyer, so we're on the same page. And that's what you do. For any marriage, if you're working with a legal aid lawyer, you're going to have separate lawyers because a legal aid's bullshit. Tim walks in, backs in, and he whispers in my ear, don't worry. We're still fighting. And we did our little sign with our hands. And we knew it was going to be okay, kind of. So we waited. I think there was about 4 or 5 people in front of us. Then they called us. And my lawyer stated that we wanted another pretrial final conference. And then if we do not agree with anything, it goes to court, which I don't really care, really. I'm not worried anymore about it all, because I'm not going to stop fighting ever. I am never ever going to stop fighting. If it's going to take me another year to get these kids back, I am not fucking going to stop fighting. I'm not going to stop for what is the best choice for these children. I'll get to that in a couple minutes too. I have been finding out on my channel, it is becoming worldwide. Everyone is reaching out to me. I am getting special email for my corruption channel. And I am getting so many emails about what the people are going through, how they're going through it, and they're asking me to get more information on how bad it is with the CPS corruption. And I gotta tell you, what I found out from a lawyer today, can't say who it is, this is the reason why I can't sleep. Because I got court on November 8th. And it's going to be a long, long journey. But my goal is to get the kids out of where they are now and to get them into a home, temporary environment where we can move, get situated, and then have a returnment back to them. Plus, they have to start going to Mass, which is very important to my husband and I. We are Catholic. My husband's becoming Catholic. I'm Catholic. So we go to Mass. We try to go to Mass once a week. We try to. We're not perfect, but we try to. I don't know if a lot of people have known this, but I have been going through CPS corruption since 2009, since my second daughter was born, Ashley. My cousin backstabbed me. And so the trust that I had and the friendship and the loving and adornment that I had of my cousin Christine is gone. Sorry, it's my PS4. I used to like my cousin Christina. Her and I were close. Not as close as my sister and I, my birth sister, Al. Half slash birth sister, Alice. And, but I've always had a better connection, close connection to my half sister, Alice. I see her now. I always say she's my sister. I see where CPS is coming from, where they have the kids right now, because Ashley's sort of their half sister. I don't even really call half sister, since CPS basically adopted Ashley under my nose and took my parental rights away from me, which they did not have any right to do. They knew where I was going, and they knew I wasn't going to be gone for very long, and I wasn't in the States for very long anyways. I had to have a holiday, and that was the only way to get away from Emmanuel. It's the only way to get away from him, because a lot of people knew every time I left him, I kept going back to that abusive relationship. It was what I had to do, what I had to leave the entire country, so I didn't have the backbone of just my backbone failing. And luckily, when I came home, I think the only time we ever went back to the Delisle was to get all my shit and that TV behind me and go. And this is a burn. I can't cook turkey correctly without burning myself. And yes, it did hurt. But I think my pain tolerance is getting a little bit better since I got older, because I always cut myself and burn myself, whatever. I'm just going there. So I have been through this since 2009, 2010. 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016. So I've been going through this for 7 years. Yes. With CPS. I lived it. I still do. I'm still dealing with the corruption. But what I don't like is how Brady comes up to me and tries to talk to me. She knows I'm not talking to her because I don't get along with her, and I'm not talking to Brady without my lawyer present. Okay? My lawyer wasn't there for me to talk to her. So I was totally being a bitch to her because she was being a snappy little cunt. All right. After that was all done, I had to wait about 10-12 minutes because someone else was in front of me that had to talk to I talked to the same lawyer that she was talking to. And so my husband was talking to his new lawyer, and he was setting up a date and time where he can go and talk to her. Because what we want to do is we want to get him to be able to talk to his lawyer and basically get a relationship, like a lawyer relationship bond, whatever. And the lawyer knows where we are at right now. So I go in and I talk to the lawyer, a lawyer, not my lawyer, a lawyer, because my lawyer wasn't there. And I sat down with her, and she basically told me a couple of things. I'm not liking it. I'm not going to do it. Ain't happening. Basically, I got to kiss Christina's ass. That's never happening. I got to suck my pride up, Christina. That ain't happening. Family Services is adamant of where they are right now. They want to keep them there. I am adamant of having them moved and removed to somewhere that is a much better area, a much more closer to us, and that when we do go where the farm is, we have more frequent access. So, sorry guys. If you guys see any weird orbs going by or an apparition or anything, I do. My grandfather has been around here since 2006. He's always been with me. My dad he just never leaves. I have a couple of his things. I have his hard hat behind me, and my dad is I just feel his presence around because I know that he knows I need him right now. It's my dad, what do you suspect? But no, back to the kids. So I go up, I left my wheelchair because I do get out and walk a little bit, but not very far. I do walk a tiny bit. Just to keep the blood to my legs. I don't know what the heck's wrong with my internet tonight. Whatever. And so I go and talk to this lawyer, and she basically says that she thinks that she is right of what she's going to say to me. She says children who are taken from parents who haven't done anything should have a chance of having their children. And we're going to go to court and we're going to fight. If it takes a year, so be it. We're doing it. And I look at her, I says, even if we have to change lawyers, she says, I'm going to try to stay on this as long as we can. I says, okay. And she says, are you ready to fight? And I says, I've been ready to fight for a while. Since I started going back more into the faith of the Lord, I feel more now complete. And I told her about the farm. And she says, you're going to have a license. You're going to be able to come into the city if you have to. I says, if the children are still in the province and the farm is in the area vicinity, it's probably won't take me very long to get to the city. I says, when the farm happens, it ain't happening right away. It's going to happen a little later. But if it happens right away, then fine. I'll drive in as much as I can. I can't be too long, because I know if we do go out to the farm, let's say it's August of next year, and court's going on, Tim won't be able to make it. And I told her, sometimes Tim might not be able to make it for some of the visits. And they have to realize that. So, long story short, is my lawyer got up and closed the door. It was my new lawyer that we're talking about. And she told me that CPS is corrupted. She told me every single thing. The CPS, the reason why they're doing this is because of money. That's why Christine and Roland want these kids, because they're using them as money banks, and they're not understanding that there is boundaries. Jesus Christ gives us our children, not for CPS to be apprehending and taking them away from us. The Lord Almighty, or Big Guy, as I like to call him, Big Guy gives us our babies for a gift, basically. We're there to look after our children and make sure they're safe. So why have Big Guy, or Jesus, or the Lord, give us a child if we weren't able to look after it? I think people are going to probably be scratching their heads like, what are you talking about? I'm talking about this. A lot of people out there have been trying for families, but they always have realized that maybe it's not their fault that they're having problems. It's because their relationship is failing. That's why they haven't had a child. Every child that is born into this world is given onto this planet for one reason, and one reason only. Life. 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 What does life mean? Life means an opportunity to live. But life with opportunity to live doesn't mean to live way far away from your parents, far away from their grandparents, far away from their great-grandparents. Okay? That's why the Lord gives us children, for us to be parents, for us to raise them. People are out there still trying for a baby again, but they aren't thinking about the long run. Maybe their relationship has failed. Maybe they're having problems with infertility. But no, the Lord gives us a baby. A fetus is a baby. I don't give a crap if anybody says no, it's a fetus. No, a fetus is actually, I call it a baby. So the Lord gives us a small grain of rice. That'd be about 2-3 weeks. And it grows into this amazing human. But when you have that baby, they take it away. I have watched a couple of CPS corruption videos, and they're all in the Saskatoon. And they all have a great understanding. Why take our children away when others are getting hurt? Why have people who have special needs, learning disability, cognitive delay, mild retardation, ADHD, ADD, have their kids snatched because they think their disability is going to harm their child because of bipolar or schizophrenic? Schizophrenia, yes, that's the best thing that they can do is they take a child away if a parent is schizophrenic. But my husband's bipolar. I don't know if a lot of people want to know this, but my husband wasn't on medication yesterday. All day. Because he took us, but I accidentally forgot to take his pills. So it reminds me to buy his pills tomorrow. Crap. He forgot to take his pills because I rushed him out of the house too fast. It was my fault. But I have never seen him so mellow, ever. And when he got home, he had the worst headaches. I knew he would have withdrawals. Started with withdrawals. That's why I came home, gave him a couple painkillers, and him his Motorgene, his Abilify, and said, go to bed. I'll make supper. Which I did. Dishes aren't still done. Whatever. What I'm talking about, everyone, is the Lord does not give us children for them to be taken away from the government. So the long run of all of this is the government needs to stop apprehending children. They need to look at the long run. They need to look at people who does drugs, who's schizophrenic, who has a problem that will harm a child. I haven't hurt a child in my life. I think I punched my cousin more than once, but maybe he deserved it. But I've never hurt my own children. I've never hurt other kids. I think I only bit a couple when I was much younger, when like a baby-ish. But I mean, as an adult, I've never, ever hurt any of my children. Anyone's other's children, I've never hurt. So basically, I'll give it a nutshell, is I found out today that there's so much corruption in Saskatoon, CPS corruption. I have known this for a while. Your child breaks their leg on some kind of thing. I don't know, really. Your child breaks a leg, you got to call 911. So you go in to the hospital. The doctors will end up turning behind you and calling CPS because that is a sign of abuse. People are thinking, okay, that is just bad. Oh, blow. Well, here you guys go. I found out what is on me. There's a couple of things, and it's coming out now. Mom, Terry, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. But there's a couple of things that's going to come out. It's nothing against you. You'll be my mom forever. I love you. Let's travel back when somebody did a miscommunication or lied to CPS. My mother would never do this to my sister, Alice. apparently somebody called in a fake report saying that my mother was dangling Alice upside down 3 flights, I don't even know how high up on the balcony, and dangling her over the railing. Due to this, my sister was put in foster care. Luckily, I was still with my grandparents. Due to that, I don't have my kids. So why take my kids away from me when it was not me that was so-called harm? It was Alice. Why have Alice be investigated with CPS? Not me. Strange, right? Then, when I broke my leg, I think it might have been 8 or 9, I had to go to St. Paul's Hospital. It was my fault. I'm an idiot. So I had to go get a cast on. There's a piece of paper, probably this thick, in my file. I asked to see the report. And it said, Terrell Jones Shaver, this and this day, broke her leg. CPS has been called. So my grandparents, from that time, from the allegations with the CPS, with my broken leg, it was basically, in a nutshell, the CPS was called, but they never acted on it with my grandparents. But they were called, and it was written down as a report. Another thing, apparently there was an allegation that Dad pulled my cousin Kenneth out of the van and twisted his arm and beat the crap out of him. I don't remember any of this, but I'm sure if he did it for a reason. Well, that's on a report also. So in the end, my family has CPS background. But why am I being targeted? Why isn't my half-sister being targeted? I'm really happy she wasn't, because I know she can't deal with the stress that I'm going through. But I'm just saying, Alice. I'm just saying that why am I being targeted and you weren't being investigated? I'm just saying. You're a great mom. But no, that is how I see it. What's going to happen if my brothers eventually have children? Are they going to be targeted? I hope to God they aren't, and that's what I'm preventing. I'm trying to fight CPS right now, so my brothers aren't having any issues that I'm having now. So there's so much corruption, and my lawyer literally came out today telling me, my new lawyer literally came out today telling me that there is a lot of corruption in the system. And they just like taking children away because they think they can, and that's their authority. But I really feel like it's bullshit, because I feel like we were never really ever given a chance. I think the only baby I was ever taken home was Beth. So we were never given a chance of taking Daniel home. You know, if we took him home and he thrived and lived, then it would have been good. But CPS can't fuck off and stop going back of those reports of the misallegations with my family. I'm sorry to say the CPS, my birth mother, and I'm backing her up right now. She was a young mom. But she parented the only way that she wanted to parent her children. And she keeps doing it till to this day. And Mom, you're a great mom. She did the exact thing I would have done. Maybe I would have done a little bit different. But my mother has always been there for all of us. Even when I barely saw her. Even when I barely knew or saw her with some of my birthdays. I always had a feeling my mom was still around, my birth mom. And she is. She's around. I feel her presence even when she's not beside me. And I'm worried that my kids won't have us. And I don't want our kids to go through the PTSD that I have. A lot of nights when I was younger, I cried for my birth mother. And I lay in bed every night wondering, what's my son up to? Is he missing us? And people won't really understand that until they've gone through it. And I've gone through it. My grandparents have raised me right. But I always had a missing part of me, and that was my birth mom. But this is the end of the live video for tonight. I'll be coming live for tomorrow once I get up. I hope you all have a wonderful and safe night, and God bless. And don't forget to subscribe down below and like and subscribe. Good night, everyone.